What I want to tell you is that you are not trapped in the world that you see, because its cause can be changed. The cause of the world you see can be changed. This change requires, first, that the cause be identified. Second, that the cause be let go. So that's your part in the freeing of your mind and your experience and the changing of the world you see. Science of Mind says, change your thinking and you will absolutely change your life. As you participate in the renewing of your mind, you'll discover that there's something going on not of your doing. There's something that will begin to awaken within you and around you. A state of joy, a state of grace, a state of peace, a state of allowing, ease. That will unfold around you as you do your part, which is identify the cause, the thoughts that are causing the suffering and the pain, and the willingness to let them go and to be released. As you do that work, you will awaken to a natural state of goodness that is here all the time. The Gospel of Thomas says, the kingdom of heaven is spread out upon the earth, and people do not see it. The kingdom of heaven is spread out here and now, and you cannot see it. And the reason you cannot see it is because of the beliefs and the ideas and the thinking that is occurring all the time that you are continually seduced by. So becoming aware of this, becoming aware that you are the creator of your experience and you are the one that can change it, begins the opportunity for the revelation of this kingdom to be seen. One of the big requirements in this one, and it is a big requirement, it is that you must be willing to give up your suffering. You must be willing to give up all of your suffering, all of your beliefs that there's something wrong happening in the world. Are we really ready to do that? We say yes, and we go, oh, that sounds wonderful. But very, very quickly, we'll discover how attached we actually are to that. Who are you, the ego says, who are you to just float through life joyous, happy, and free? How dare you? How dare you be happy, joyous, and free when there's so many problems in the world? How dare you do that? That's what the ego will scream. That's what the suffering that is occurring in the thinking system will say to you to pull you back into its clutches. This month, we're focusing on, as Daryl said, Loving What Is, the book by Byron Katie. And the process that is presented to us in the book is called the work. And the work is basically the idea of questioning the thoughts that you're having. Going into an inquiry around what is occurring in your mind. Not just believing it or attaching to it because it passes through, but quite the opposite. As you see it and realize that it's got you, you begin what she calls the work. And there are 4 simple questions. The first question is simply, is it true? Is it true? Whatever fearful thought you're having, and the way that you know that it's time to question it, by the way, is that it doesn't feel good. You feel suffering when you have the thought. And so when you have the thought and you realize that you have that feeling tone of pain, you can turn to the work and simply say, is the thought that I'm thinking true? And that's a yes or no question, by the way. There is no talking around it. There's no process to take place. And there's no wrong answer. The thing is that the questioning takes you inside yourself and you simply listen. If the answer is yes, it's true, then great. You move to the second question. The second question is, can I absolutely know it's true? So it invites you to really take a deeper inquiry around if it's true. A yes or no question. There is no wrong answer. There's no wrong answer. But the way I do that one, if I've got a belief that my answer to the first question is yes, and so I move to the second question, is it absolutely true? The way that I think that is it law unto the universe? That everybody in the world thinks so-and-so is an idiot. Like, is that an absolute law? Right? So that causes me to go a little bit deeper and to start to break open a little bit. So for me, I would have to say that the person I think who is an idiot is not an absolute law. There might be someone on the planet who thinks differently. And if there is one who thinks differently, then it would not be an absolute truth. Right? So that for me would go, okay, no, it's not true. But either way, yes or no, it doesn't matter. You move on to question 3. Question 3 says, and it's such a how do you react when I think the thought? So in the midst of thinking the thought, you're now in questioning of it. So you've moved yourself out of it and you're observing the thought now and you're in inquiry with it. And the question, how do I react when I think the thought? How do I react when I think the negative thoughts about myself or others? Answer that question. It's very easy to answer. You feel horrible. You contract. Your heart will start to race. Your pulse will get sweaty. You become irritated. You become angry. There's lots of things that occur when you think these suffering thoughts. And how amazing it is to look at it and to inquire around it and to observe, wow, look what this thought is causing. And who's having it? I am. I'm the cause. And look what's causing, or better yet, Byron Katie would say the thought is having me. The thought is having me, but I'll get that to in a minute. So the thought is occurring in me. So I get really in touch with, wow, what's happening right now when I have the thought? And then the fourth question is, who would I be without the thought? Who would you be without the suffering thought? And it's just a question. You don't have to think, oh, God, I have to let it go. You don't have to do anything like that. You just answer the question. It's just an inquiry. Who would you be if you didn't have the fearful thought? Or if the fearful thought didn't have you? Who would you be? Very often, the first thing that people say is free. They'd be free. They'd be in the present moment. They'd be expanded. They would feel good. They'd feel a sense of love. They would begin to, I would say, begin to see the kingdom of heaven that is strewn before them, around them, and within them. As soon as they contemplate the idea. And then what we do is we turn the thought around. You turn the thought around in a couple different ways. You turn it to its opposite. So if I say so-and-so is an idiot, I would say so-and-so is not an idiot. And I would try that on. And I'd say, wow, that actually feels generous. That feels pretty good. I'd also turn it around and say toward myself. And I would say, I'm an idiot. And I go, I kind of do think that about myself sometimes. That kind of feels a little true. No judgment. It doesn't make it true. But I got to admit that, oh, wow, I'm having that thought about me. That feels a little more real. And what I'm doing is projecting it out upon another person, right? So we inquire around it. We turn it around. And a great thing to do is to give yourself 3 examples of how the turnaround might be more true. It's a simple process. It's a very simple process. And the great thing about it is all you do is move through it. You don't have to do anything but answer the question. And we have worksheets, by the way, in the bookstore for you to take a few and try them out through the week if it's interesting to you. It's vitally important, Byron Katie says, that you cannot drop a thought. You cannot of yourself make it disappear. She says, my experience is that you can't drop a thought because you didn't make it in the first place. So the question is simply, can you see a reason to drop the thought? Can you see a reason? Thoughts are just what is. They appear. They're innocent. They're not personal. They're like the breeze or the leaves on the trees or the raindrops falling. Thoughts arise like that, and we can make friends with them. Would you argue with a raindrop? So loving what is. Last week we talked about